some weird weather rolling into town. Pretty. But this is pretty weird for July. It's actually pretty mild. I think a couple of years ago we had temperatures of like 115 during the day around mid-July. It's a pretty mild summer. I'm liking it. So I'm sitting here on the bike going to work, and I'm thinking of all the road trips that Rob, Connor, me, Matt, Adon, we've all been on. And I'm sitting here thinking like, hey, there's always things that you can do to your motorcycle to make it more touring ready or touring capable. Get, you know, and I have a top 5 modifications video on bikes. It's in a random thoughts video, so you might have to do some searching. And if you don't want to, that's okay, because nothing I say on this channel is going to be groundbreaking, I promise. But, you know, insights. So I've been riding long distance for a while now, and I think the number one thing that you can do to prepare yourself for distance riding is getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And you can say that about a lot of things, I think. Life in general. Growing up as a kid, you have all of these ideas in your head of, oh, I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want to do this. And, you know, and then your parent will sit you down and try to break reality to you in a nice way. You know, like with my children, I tell them life isn't soft and cuddly and fuzzy and warm. That all has to come from you. If you want your environment to be soft, cuddly, warm, convenient, you have to put in the work, right? You have to be uncomfortable to get comfortable. And you can apply a lot of what you learn from life to motorcycles and vice versa, motorcycles to life. When riding long distance, the sooner you accept that it's not going to go perfect, and that you're not going to be in this perfect bubble of comfort the entire time, the easier it is. When I first started riding long distance, I was like 18, 19. I was 18. No. Whatever. I was pretty damn young. And my first long distance trip was in February from the Canadian border to Salt Lake City, Utah. So it was cold the entire ride. It took me 16 hours. I was on a Sportster, so the not ideal bike to go long distance. You know, but I was young and nothing really hurt too bad yet. And I made it work. And I remember in that trip, there was this moment on the road where I'm sitting there and I'm hating life. You know, I'm feeling down. I'm feeling woe is me. Why, you know, like a bunch of regret. Like, why did I do this? Why did I make this stupid decision to buy a Harley in the winter and then decide to try to get it to my duty station in February? I was home on leave when I bought it. Again, I was 19, I was stupid. So, anyways, I'm on the road, and I am about as uncomfortable as it gets. My ass is sore. I mean, my shoulders hurt. I had no cruise control. I had no fairing. You know, it was just misery. And this is the bike I did it on. Right there. And then about 3/4 of the, and I wish I would have figured this out sooner, but about 3/4 of the way through it, I just stopped fighting it. You know, I just stopped fighting trying to get comfortable, because it wasn't going to happen. You know, and I wasn't going to not go back to my duty station and be AWOL and then have to call my first sergeant and tell him that I was going to be late and I need to extend my leave and deal with all of that bullshit. So, in order for me to do something, and I know this might sound cheesy, and this was very low stakes at the time, but in order for me to do something that I wanted, and something that was going to make my life better in the long run, which was have my bike with me at my duty station, I had to be very uncomfortable and very cold for 16 hours. And it was quite literally a line in the sand where it just became better. You know, I'm sitting on my bike, I'm riding, and I'm just like, screw it, this is gonna suck, and I just put it out of my mind. And the rest of the trip was enjoyable. I know it sounds stupid and it's not as easy as just going, oh, okay, this is gonna suck, and I'm going to be okay with it, but sometimes it's harder than that. But that's always been like a memory that I have in my mind that I try to recall when whatever in my life at the time is going wrong or not going the way I expected. It's just get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And then I well, that was after Afghanistan. We were in full kit, right? That's Kevlar, tack vest. I was a grenadier, so I had an M4 with the 203 with 40 mic rounds. I had an M9. I had a standard combat load, which was 210 rounds of 5.56, 90 rounds of 9x19, and we had an ammo can that we had to pack around filled with 40 mic. And we were in trucks, towers. I mean, we did these rotations of separate duties in Bagram Airfield. And you can apply it to that as well. You know, like, you're not gonna be comfortable. And the sooner you know that and stop fighting the process and just go with the flow, it gets easier. Like, I remember just sweating my ass off and freezing, by the way. That's something that people don't seem to talk about. In the mountains of Afghanistan at night, it gets so cold. I was freezing my ass off. I had to call my wife on an MWR sat phone and ask her to send me a black hoodie sweater that was the thickest one she could find, so I could jam it underneath my plate carrier and my uniform top so I could be warm, because we had no cold weather gear in Bagram. Something to think about, you know. It could always be worse. But anyways, so in Afghanistan, just accepting that you're not going to be comfortable ever. The food's going to suck. Except there was this sandwich shop that was ran by Kuwaitis. I'm pretty sure they were from Kuwait. They were not Afghans, I'll tell you that. But either way, they and by the way, the people of Afghanistan are called Afghans, not Afghani. Afghani's the money. So just pro tip for you. But anyways, the sandwich shop was amazing. But other than that, we had like this little stand of these Kuwaitis that would sell us sandwiches. And, you know, you don't really know what was in it, but holy shit, they were good. I could have just been hungry too. But anyways, the second you accept things are out of your control, that are just gonna suck, and you just know it, and try your damnedest to just persevere with the positive mental attitude, the easier it gets. It quite literally is like a weight off your shoulders. And a lot of reflecting, you realize that when you're placed in crazy situations like receiving indirect fire and you have no control over it, and you could just be a memory. So, I mean, you never knew when it was your time, basically. And I think a lot of people, I wasn't very mentally strong when, and in a lot of ways I'm still not, but I wasn't very resilient, is the term that the military likes to use. Wasn't very resilient at 18, 19, 20 in comparison to some of the other guys. So it really affected me, and when you leave those environments and you're back in the real world, it can affect people in different ways. And for me, I think it made me want to control every aspect of my life, because you had no control overseas. And in doing so, I became very impatient, very agitated, very irritable, and those around me suffered because of it. And I think it takes time, and no one's perfect, and everyone has things that they could do better. But for me, and it still very much is, just learning to accept the things that you cannot control. And that's what letting go is. And on a motorcycle, it directly correlates. You can't control everything on the road. You can't control how other people drive. You can't control the Bambis that try to end you. You can't control wildlife. You can't control weather. And so for me, being on a motorcycle is very therapeutic in that way. It's kind of like micro-dosing trauma, So in a way, it is therapy, but it's therapy that you love to do. So, I mean, how can it get better than that? You're doing something that's good for your brain, good for your soul, good for your spirit, and it's fun. I mean, I don't think it gets better than that. You get to take your own little slice of experience out of the world, and it's just yours. Beautiful morning. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on some experiences overseas and how motorcycles help me. Again, this whole channel that's what this channel is about. It's cool to have followers and subscribers and people who like, comment, do all the YouTube stuff. And while that does support the channel and make me feel good that I'm doing something that other people enjoy that might help someone else, but I mean, selfishly, this is for me. Riding this bike as much as I can, when I can. It really is just for me, and I think that's important. A lot of people have guilt for doing something that is just for them. It's not about anybody else, especially as a parent, But I think everyone needs that. Everyone needs something that is just theirs. Another beautiful morning in the bag. I need to get like a cup holder. Hear me out. I need to get like a cup holder in my saddlebag. Like 2 of them. You know, almost like a cooler that's like Velcroed to the side of the saddlebag that I could put drinks in so they don't fall off my lunchbox and almost crack open. I've had that happen to me, and then I had to take the saddlebag off, drain it, completely wash it out so it wouldn't get sticky. But yeah, thank you guys for watching my morning vlog. Matt's coming in. I'll see you guys when I see you.